That's probably good. Can you zoom in? I have to do it with that. I don't know how to. You know how to zoom in?
No,
I don't think that thing.
I don't think it does. I think that's why it does it up there. I think I don't need to be zoomed.
Right.
I think that's about.
That's close. Okay, it's backwards. That's what I was showing you. What's that mean? I'm thinking, well, who's sitting over? That's
Oh
Dawn.
yeah, it's backwards.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yep.
Wonder why.
Never doing that.
Okay.
No, I'm taking that crap home with me. So.
Okay. I'll do it.
Say something. What's that supposed to do?
Oh, that's for chat, folks.
What's this?
I don't know.
It's like there's more.
Is Sylvia not coming?
No.
More screens, but there shouldn't be. It's only one. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Don't know.
I'll bet there is a zoom on that thing,
Yeah,
but we don't know where and we don't want to mess with it.
right.
It's camera. That's what you wanted. You don't have to stream or anything. You just leave it alone, right?
Yep.
Okay.
She does have you're on.
You know you're on for that.
Well,
You
she's
got
the
this
one
live.
that
It
has
says
Yep.
live.
Yep. And when you're done, you just hit end stream, and then I think it
Okay.
says.
And do you end between them and then restart?
Yeah.
Was she overdue yesterday?
Still not sure exactly what you did, but I know a little more than I did.
Yeah.
She still hasn't caught that yet.
If something's not already, if it wasn't already kind of set up just to go to the next step, I'm not sure I know how to start.
Oh, no.
All right.
Just a pedicure should have been what she should have done. Oh, yeah. It would
We need
definitely
to
done
have a
her in.
class.
Yeah.
You know, on that, because I've got a PowerPoint for class. Tumbleson's not here. I don't know what I'm going to do.
And he's not here today.
He's not here.
Oh,
So between
And Katie and
class
Amber.
and then I need to try to figure out.
Yeah.
Yes. Have you got yours on PowerPoint
all I
today?
heard was
Yeah.
We'll have to figure that
surgery
out,
next
won't we?
week.
Yep.
But I wasn't sure what was going
All right.
on.
That'll be beyond me.
Should we start it up so it warms up?
Good.
It's like
Yeah.
Kate. Hey, there's donuts right
They're
there on the
okay,
left.
but it's,
Right there with the coffee. I got donut.
I don't like them. I fall with them, at least with the ones that have been around. But
Yeah, I can see where it becomes constructive.
yeah, well, she's taller, so there's a difference. Yeah. There's a difference in height there.
But she, the problem, I think the big problem would be coming down the stairs.
Ooh, yes.
Because your leg is sticking out.
Yeah, I'd be sitting down, bouncing down. That's one reason why I like my house. I have one step in and one step.
I like my house.
Yeah.
I don't have any steps.
No steps. Yeah. Enjoy that part of it.
Yeah, that's the best move I ever made. Just down from the road.
Hi, good morning.
Oh, Becky. Where's Ben coming home? End of the week?
End of the month. Can't wait.
Oh.
She's made a few friends with the guys she's made friends with. She says, all they want to do is date me. It's gross, Mom. I don't want to date anybody here.
It is what it is.
She says,
Yeah, wonder why the guy's cute.
oh, I know. She says, I just want to.
The girl is,
That's gross.
Rosie now.
Yeah. I drove to Tiverton.
Did your daughter get her
did
job?
she get a job?
Tiverton is a little village on the city in it.
If you stay on it, 206, you go down and all that. Ever been there?
No.
No. Yeah, it's just almost ending. You go up 62 and just as you're approaching it.
You need to show Ken that.
You just go right over it. We're used to it. Houses are built up.
Then on to the left. Right.
Okay.
So.
I've been close
My boss has got it on the ankle.
All that's left now.
I couldn't figure out why bruise on his ankle. And I was like, what's going on here? Then I realized what it was. They have a table that you gotta move to be able to get out. I mean, at the kitchen table. She gets it. When she went out, I'm like, now I understand why you're getting it. I mean, I can figure out why it's one ankle. I mean, it just looks like someone beating me down. I'm looking at her, you okay? He goes, yeah. He says, I'm used to it. It's like you said, it's got a callus.
Because the building, what I'm not really, but I can try.
All righty. Figured you might know as much as anybody.
Real estate, and stuff like that. So they know.
I think they need to have a class. I think they need to have a class on how to build because nobody knows.
Yeah, you open arms.
They all start laughing about it. And I'm like, why don't you just have
And it's still there.
have the men stay and
Aren't there?
have a class? Or write it down.
You can go into DNR Smith, the Lord is like it. Like I need a lamp. You know, give me a lamp or me that $8
I don't like seeing the heat come. When the sun's out, I can't be out. I mean, I'm just dying out there.
I went to Newark the other day. And bought me
Yeah. I've lived here 61 years.
boy, that thing does it. If you push the button and it takes off. That switch
Good.
is over the button.
Okay. It won't go in the bedroom.
Well, if you do it in the bedroom, you hung up under the bed.
Oh, so there's something under the bed? Is there something under the bed? Okay, so you have to clean out underneath the bed.
Yep.
I'd go down on the floor and get it out.
Yep. Yeah, I've got them at 3 at my house. They run them when I'm not there. And I like it because it does go underneath the bed. That's the one place I can't get.
You got it on the phone?
I can't do it. They run.
Oh, did she?
It's not my sweepers, it's their sweepers.
I would put it on the phone.
Not
I
working.
messed up. I put password in here, the password I used before on something else. Then I tried to change it. I did delete it.
Oh, no.
All right, guys, it is time to begin. I'm gonna get a bulletin, an older one. Is that an older one?
You can
A
say-
bulletin.
I'll leave the phone.
Doug?
You said that. See, I have a problem over here.
Oh, I know.
They're sitting up here. The guard dog's up here.
Well, I see.
Wait, you are, so you're gonna be in all that Monday.
I was gonna say, back there, you get the
Well,
Halloween.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's go through quickly the good, the bad, and the ugly. Don't forget Friends and Family Day on May 29th, 2 weeks away. It's soup and salad theme, so bring something related if you can. Yard giveaway on June the 4th. We picked up 5 or 6 bags of stuff that was set outside. You can either call Ben, you can call someone with a key that knocks a bunch of us out.
Or you can just leave it out there.
Or you can just, yes, or you can just leave it out there beside the door. And that's for June the 4th. And I can guarantee you that at some point in time, he's going to start asking for people, and we're going to need people to help do some sorting for that, and even do some help on June the 4th.
What about saving grocery bags?
There we go.
Bring
Bag.
those boxes.
Yep, save some grocery bags.
Well, let me know, and I'll help you bring it. I'll bring it.
Friends and Family Day, there's some cards outside in the foyer to give. We talked about trying if everybody could bring one. Those of you who don't have any friends, try to bring a family member. Mary? Reminder, no evening service on May 29th as well, because that'll cover our 5th Sunday. So we'll have a small devotional after the meal, and then we'll be on our way. Anything else? Updates, news? I did not go through the sick list. We have those bulletins. Yes.
My sister had her doctor appointment Friday, and she said run down that they kind of decided to hold off chemo for a month and try to get her build up.
Get her build up.
So she's able to take the chemo.
Okay.
And also, I'd like to thank, I believe it's Becky and Mark, for the
Yes.
beautiful flower beds up front.
Yeah, Becky. Yeah, Becky.
And Mark helped with the mulch.
Thank you. It looks
He
really
showed
good.
up afterward.
Yeah. Oh, after it was done. You need help? You hear him in the kitchen working for 40 minutes. You wait to hear that last wash going on. Hey, is there anything I can do to help? Nope, I got it. What? Typical, yes. What else? Updates?
I went down Tuesday to see Danielle for a while. Her spirits are very high. She's looking much better than she did like a week before. When I went down to see her.
Awesome. Did you ever hear that? Okay. Dawn?
I have 2 uncles that were in the hospital this past week. Dwayne Richards, who's a member of the Church of Christ down in Marietta. He is with some heart issues, and they're going to be doing stress tests here in the next week or so. And then Jack Hinton, who's a member up in Groveport, he had a stroke. He seems to be doing pretty well, better than they thought. Was up and down the hall a couple times, so I think they're going to release him today. But just keep them in your prayers, please.
I was in the emergency room Wednesday. Doctor sent me there to see if I was having a stroke, because I tried to think of something. When I called someone, I tried to think of something that I wanted to tell them, and I could see the picture of it in my brain, but I couldn't. I'd start to tell it, and I couldn't do it. That only lasted about a half hour, and I had a slight headache, so I drove myself, because I'm trying to buy a weed whipper or something at Lowe's, and well, I stopped in the hospital. And they did all these tests, and it wasn't TIA or stroke, but possibly the results of a migraine headache. And after I had the CAT scan, was stretching my neck out.
They gave you a headache.
And no way.
Oh.
So that was strange. So I never knew a migraine could make you have trouble finding the words, or I know it can make you have trouble thinking. So anyway.
Okay.
We're glad to, but everything negative. Yay.
Herb's cataract went okay, surgery went okay.
Okay. Brooke?
Karen Rush she fell last Sunday, but I'm thankful for she's a lot better now
All right.
than she was
That's her boyfriend's grandmother.
Gotcha.
What an outside to the whole world.
Anyone else? Jack?
My wife Denise has had a lot of trouble with her neck. I think she needs to have x-rays and get a doctor's appointment. Can't even sleep in bed, she sits in the chair. It's that bad.
Did you get that, Doug? You got better hearing than me then. Anyone else? Okay, let's, Doug will lead us in prayer, then we'll get started with the lesson this morning.
Father, we are thankful for a beautiful morning. Thank you for each one that is here this morning, that we can open your word together briefly and study it together. Father, help us to each encourage one another, build one another up. We might be strengthened to be able to do your work this week. Father, we realize there are many who are not able to be here. Father, we ask that you be with Nancy's sister Cindy. She might be able to get her strength back, that she might be able to resume the treatments, that her health might be able to improve. Father, we ask you with Don's uncles, as they're experiencing some health concerns. Father, we're thankful that Nancy is able to be here this morning, and that it's not something more serious. Father, we ask you with Karen Rush, help her to heal from her falls. Thankful for the successful surgery of Herb Phillips, that he might be able to heal and that his sight would be what it should be. We're thankful that Danielle's spirits are good. Father, we pray that she might be able to come home, to be able to rest at home, and that she might even be able to be back with us soon. I ask you with Jack's wife, she's suffering some neck troubles. She might be able to find the source of that trouble and again just be able to get back to doing the normal things that she would like to do. Father, we had a lesson recently on the hardness of our heart. Father, we ask that you help us each to examine ourselves. Help us to do that often. Father, help us to make those changes in our life that need to be changed. Father, we ask that you would move in our life. We ask that you would let your word move in our life. Change us, improve us, help us to grow, to mature, to be the people that you have us to be. Father, I ask you to be with Paul this morning as he brings us the lesson. Again, we're just so thankful for Jesus, that living word, that word that we can tap into, that vine that we can gain nourishment from. Father, help us to always be willing to let that vine work in our life. And again, just ask that you would forgive us where we've been stubborn, where we have refused to do those things that we know we ought to be doing. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
I just want to mention something. A lot of people said my knee, you ought to be better by now. It's not my knee, it's my hips are worn out. The new knees come along okay.
Yeah. And when one part, the older I get, the more I learn that when one part is bad, it affects 2, 3, 4 other parts. And then trying to find where the cause and where the root of that is can be the issue. Good. Okay, last week we talked about showing patience towards our brothers. As always, I had 7 things that I wanted to discuss with that. We got to 2.5. And I'm going to ask somebody to read Matthew 7, please. Let's do Matthew 7, 1 through 12. We started on this last Sunday. Matthew 7, 1 through 12. Anyone?
Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, Let me take the speck out of your eye when all the time there is a plank in your own eye. You hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to pigs. If you do, they may trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks the door will be opened. Which of you, if your son asks for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a snake? If you then, though you are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him? So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you, for this sums up the law and the prophets.
Verse 5. Want to hit on verse 5 just a little bit and get some discussion on, do we feel that this is one of the top 5 issues that the church faces from a world standpoint? And if it's yes, then we're going to talk about yes. If you feel it's no, then we're going to talk about no. Being a hypocrite, first remove the plank from your own eye, then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. So when it comes to worldly, but also when it comes to members of the church, having patience, having understanding, give me some discussion on verse 5.
The world tends to expect more out of Christians than they do out of themselves. So therefore, if they see us doing something supposedly we preach against, then they want to shout hypocrite.
Right.
Even though they're doing it.
Correct. Okay. Now let's take what you just said and let's put it to use in the church, where someone is doing something that goes against God's will and is brought, and somebody goes to them and says, hey, here's an issue. And their response is, what?
You do the same.
Yeah. I don't know what and it may not even be the same thing. It may be something different. But don't talk to me about that. You do this. And I have heard multiple times, well, I don't know why you go to church. It's just a bunch of hypocrites there. I mean, and wherever that there is. Comment.
I think it's an excuse. They really don't want to go to church.
Right. Oh, 100. Yes, 100%. But it's also an excuse when it's talking about being judged here and having that patience with others, is even from a husband-wife relationship. If Don is going to start quote unquote fussing at me about something, after the first 2 sentences, I'm done listening. What am I doing after those first 2 sentences?
Thinking of everything that she does.
Yes. Do what?
Thinking of everything that she does.
Yes. I'm done listening. Now I want to get back. Yes. Now comes the defense. So this is why this happens, and this is why I did this. And this is, yes, but you do this. Is that not the same thing as in the church as well? That congregations struggle with is, now, if I say something to Jack about X, what are some things that could happen if I go and I fuss to Jack? I go by myself, I go and I say, Jack, you're doing this wrong. What are some negative things that could happen?
Could not come back.
Could not come back. Ding, ding. What else?
Start totaling up all the things that he thinks you've done wrong.
Yes. Now we're going to tally up my wrongs, which there are plenty.
Or you could bring other people down too.
There we go. Now he goes, and it just, instead of him saying, I've had it with you guys. Jack's want to go over here and get in Doug's ear, get in Mark's ear. I don't know what y'all doing with this. And has any of you been a part of that? Has any of you been privy to that type of attitude? Isn't the word I'm looking for, scenario. That type of scenario right there, where someone has said something, they've got their feelings hurt. Nothing is wrong with being falsely accused. Happens all the time. Let's have that discussion. No, that's not what happened. Hey, I saw you walking out of Flappers. Flappers is a bar in town. I saw you walking out of Flappers at 2 a.m. You know, that's not a good look for us as a church as a whole. Well, I don't know what the situation was. I don't know what this, yeah. A friend of mine called. He didn't want to drive. I went in, got him, came out. But there needs to be that discussion. And I think at times we do it as husband and wife as well. You know, not worth, yes, dear, it's not worth getting into. Same thing is true with the church. Comment.
I think part of the problem is we assume that we know what the other person means, whatever comment they make, and what their motive is behind it. We assume that we know what they're going to, when you quit listening after the 2 sentences, Don may have actually wound up saying, you know, I'm doing the same stuff too, and we need to work together to take care of it. But you didn't hear anything because you assume you know where it's going.
Right.
And that one word, the attitude we have with it, sometimes is some of our major problems.
And that's a tough sell. I mean, for me, that's a tough sell. And I think every family, now, and I'm not talking about husband and wife as a family, but every group of family, how's that? Every group as a family has different experiences, different backgrounds, different things. You know, I have 2 brothers and a sister, and all 4 of us act differently. You know, all 4 of us have priorities outside the church. We're blessed that all 4 of us still, you know, attend, but all 4 of us have different priorities. And one of us would say, well, I could never do that. Whereas this one, you know, does that all the time, meaning one of my brothers is a car nut. I mean, buys and fixes and trades and swaps them. Yeah, I go and get my oil changed. You know, whereas the other one is into hunting and fishing and taking and going to, well, we all grew up the same. You know, all of us grew up the same way. Well, as a church, all of us grew up the same way, meaning here's the word, here's what we're supposed to do, but we all bring so many different experiences to the table, and it's a great opportunity, and I'm going to say it again, and he's not here, is those ministry teams, if we continue with those, my opinion is that there'll be such a good blessing for this congregation. For several reasons, but a good blessing overall. I don't want to get into a 15-minute conversation about judging. I want to move on to more with patience. However, does this verse say that we should not judge? No. Does this verse say we should not hold other Christians to different standards other than we hold ourselves to? Yes. You know, don't say Mark, I saw you out there speeding, doing 55, doing 65 in a 50. Well, yeah, you did. You passed me. You know, yeah, you saw me doing that. Well, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about you.
So take care of yourself first.
Yes. And that's the point is, you know, let's work on, and we all need to do that. We need to work on ourselves and then spread that desire, spread that knowledge out as we go. We hit on this just a little bit. This is closely in. Listen, when we're talking about fellow Christians here, we hit on, some of you gave some examples, at least I have, that's what I have. List some circumstances that require patience towards others. List some circumstances that require patience toward others.
Trying to help them set up their computer.
Okay. Something else. It doesn't have to be that specific, but that's good. Yes.
With yourself. Too.
Well, working with other, how about this? Working with other people where you feel like you know what you're doing and they think that they know what they're doing, or they don't think that they know what they're doing. Something else. We had 2 or 3 good ones before we were finishing up.
Dealing with elderly parents.
Dealing with elderly parents.
Sometimes all this stuff.
Or older people in general. Give me an example. Give me one.
Constantly calling me every time something happens.
My wife is much better at that than I am. My wife calls her mom every day. Agreed? 14 out of 15 days. Me, I'm about every 3 or 4. And however, the older that I get, the older, and there's certain husbands and wives doing this right now. The older that I get, the more I see how my mom appreciates that call. You know, the more I see, you know, when Bird shoots a call, or Jacqueline, who's in New Mexico, shoots a call, the more I see that. Something else. Requiring patience towards others.
Somebody rambles to get a point across, and you want to
That'd be me.
spit it out.
Yeah.
Because you only want the one sentence versus,
Yes.
but you get from the beginning of time to the end of time.
Yes.
It takes extreme patience to get there.
Good one.
I've got a mother like that.
What?
Working with young people.
Working with young people.
People, it's not me I have patience with. People, since I've had the leg trouble, they've had a lot of patience with me and helped me out a lot.
We say the term, your patience is wearing thin. You know, and you get that because you feel, okay, well, I've had patience with this, I've had patience with this. Come on, let's go. Let's spit it out. Let's make that, let's do.
You feel like you get no help.
Yeah.
I mean, your patience is running thin because you get no help.
Yes.
From people that say that they would support you, or from your friends or family that say, yeah, we're here for you. But instead of being there for you, they're rah, rah, go team, we'll pray for you. But sometimes prayer isn't enough.
No.
Sometimes you have to have physical help.
Yes. That right there is a whole 3-month lesson in itself. And it is because it deals with so many different areas. It deals with the pity that you have because you're like, poor me, because I've been there, you know, poor me, I'm doing this, and this. And now they want, of course, and then who are they going to ask to do more? You, because you're the one doing. And it also goes to the people saying, hey, if you need something, just do what? If you need something, just give me a call. And you feel like, well, you know what? They can see that I'm busted it.
Or you call
and
it's like, oh, sorry, I'm too busy.
Sorry, can't help you. We're going to talk a little bit about priorities this morning. So there's a lot, and notice a lot of different things requiring patience towards others. And there could be a lot more as well. So my biggest one is that patience of somebody driving in the left-hand lane. I struggle with that constantly. Get over, you're done passing, get over and let somebody go through. It is especially important that we be patient towards new converts. Do you agree or disagree? And then give me and discuss our answer. I think we can agree that we need to be patient, and where, just like we talk about milk and meat, what defines a new convert? Is it 1 year? Is it 10 years? Is it 30 years? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But what are some examples of where we would need to be patient when it comes to milk individuals in the church?
Perhaps when they start publicly praying or doing a sermon or something like that.
Okay.
You know, they have to get some experience.
Yes.
They can't, you know, be
Yes.
a preacher that's preached for 10 years.
And it's really hard. So as a worker at the NAS, I get GAs, which is they're graduate assistants. So what that is, that's somebody that works for me X amount of hours a week. And by doing that, they get their master's for free. They have the ability to get their master's for free. And having the patience, well, I don't know how to do that. Well, I'm the guy, I'm not writing it out for you like this. I want you to go do it. If you fail at it, nothing's wrong with that. Let's figure out what you did. But if you succeeded, how greater are you going to feel about, look, I did this. You know, hey, you did great except for one, here's just one spot you might want to work on. So having patience, especially when it comes to members of the church, is paramount for us to grow, for the church to grow. Because if we don't grow, there's no stagnant here. If we don't grow, we're dying. Other comments?
They don't do it the way you would want it done.
Yeah.
You have to be patient with that. That's
right.
Just like you just said, you might have to say, you might want to tweak this way, but don't do it in a negative way to them,
Yeah.
or be there to help them to do it.
And that's the sandwich technique, where you give a positive and you throw a negative in, you come back with a positive, and you make that sandwich of where you can go ahead and throw that negative in, but you always have something positive to say, man, it was a great job. Here's one thing I would try to do if it was me. Someone else. Jesus is the greatest example of patience toward others. Give me some actions or some quotes which displays Jesus's patience toward others. I have one in particular in my head, but I'd really like to hear some different examples. Examples where Jesus was patient with others.
The apostles, but when they would ask, I want to be first, can I see?
Yeah.
Is it right or whatever?
And that's my one. So let's go back to it. Great. Someone give me another one.
Mary and Martha.
Mary and Martha. Explain.
Martha was busy in the kitchen and Mary was sitting at Jesus' feet. And Jesus calmly talked to Martha about Mary choosing the better thing.
Instead of, we don't. Someone else.
Go and sin no more.
Go and sin no more. Yes. And done with it. And done with it.
So,
yes, go.
So what you have,
Yeah.
before they took the cross and followed him, and went away.
And if you think, yeah, it's warm in here. If you think about Jesus' life in the mindset of, imagine how patient he had to be, and imagine how calm he had to be. And the patient part for me is the fact that he taught and he had these individuals that went everywhere with him. Everywhere with him. But still, when it came down to where the rubber meets the road and time to do, what did everybody do? Left.
Deserted him.
Gone, out. And we as Christians, do we not have you ever heard this? You know what? But if I was back in that time and I could see that, my faith would be so much stronger. Here's people that walked, ate, talked, slept with him the entire time and still left, still deserted. And how frustrated we would be. And I picture somebody making a deck on the back of your house, and you're bringing people in that know nothing about building a deck. And you are constantly, okay, hey, these nails go, line all the nails up right here. When they come over here, no, hold on, brother. You want to line these nails up over here. Wait, okay, well, you got to cut. And constantly just going back and forth and trying to correct and trying to do. All the while, you know what the finished product is going to be. You're going to be on the cross. You're going to have to suffer through it. All the while knowing that. And still, okay, come on, fix this right here. Hey, let's do this right here. That to me is mind-boggling. Jack.
I just want to say, when Jesus said, drink my blood and eat my flesh, didn't some of the disciples leave?
Yeah, well, they thought, I can't tell you if they left, but they thought he was talking about physical blood and physical drink, just the same as whenever somebody helped me. They said, hey, must we go back into my mother's womb to be born again? Who said that? Nicodemus. So again, just trying to get your word across, and they're arguing over who's going to sit on the right side and who's going to sit on the left side, who's going to be first. Just the frustration level, especially when we're talking about patience, that a normal person would have kicked them all out. Try 12 more. Give me 12 more. Bring me 12 more in here. Let's see if we can have them do something.
Thomas wanted to see the nail scars in his hands. And
Yeah.
Jesus was patient with him.
Yeah. And what's Thomas's name? What do we call him? Doubting Thomas. Who would have done the same thing? Yeah.
We would have.
Yes, exactly. Well, okay. Yeah, come on now. I mean, we already left, right? I mean, we're already left. We're gathered together. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? They're going to come after us. They're going to kill us. What are we supposed to do? And here he comes in. Show me. Show me. So there's a lot of times where we, I don't want to say the opposite of put people up on a pedestal, we talk down about these individuals and the things that they do. But in truth be told, we would be right there with them. I'll say, I would be right there with them. Show me.
They probably feared being crucified as well.
Yes.
Peter.
Yeah.
Peter denied Christ because
yes.
He didn't want to get,
Yeah, and we do that all the time. You're with a group, they start talking this or start doing that or start doing something. Oh man, I hate not to be a part of this. I hate not to be in the group right here. What's a little feel there? All right, got to 7 out of 8 today, so we will we'll continue this next week. Thank you a lot. I'll leave with this. My mother-in-law listens to this, and last week she asked, how do you get so many people to discuss? She said, at Barlow, man, nobody talks, nobody, how do you, I just called on them. Hey, Steve, what do you think? So thank you guys for discussing. Appreciate it.